Sefer SHMOT. New beginning. New start, right? Can we agree to that at least? You know, today, actually yesterday, the Goyim were celebrating their interesting holiday. I have a shiur on it actually. If whoever wants, you can look at it out. They were celebrating Christmas. And another 7 days from now, or 6 already, they're going to be celebrating. They're going to be. That's not so funny, I don't know why everyone's laughing. You know what I'm talking about?
Can we start it again?
No, we're not going to start. Why? Because nothing's better than authentic. To be authentic. Hey, 47 taught you something. What a kavod. What's problem? You're gonna start? That's why you're so successful. Okay, listen. No. So what? Be who you are. Don't be. Live for yourself, not for your neighbor. He's not paying your bills, achi. He doesn't care about you. It's not an Instagram quote. It's a life quote. It's a life quote, Rabotai. You have to live. You have too much chatter. 3 women, 18 men, more voice from there than here. You understand? Shh. Too much chatter. Guys, you have to live for yourself. You know how I became the way I became? I'm not praising myself. I'm nothing crazy. But at the end of the day, I didn't care about anyone around me. Not in the sense that I don't care about them. If it was between me or somebody else to survive, I was going to pick to survive. For all costs. I gave a shiur yesterday. 2 days ago, I was on the Shabbat. And there was one girl that was very upset at me. She said, Rabbi, what can we learn from you about dating? You only dated one girl your whole life.
How did you know that?
I was like, okay. I said, how many men did you date? A ton. I said, that's why you're not married and I'm married.
Yeah, he said shit.
You know what it is? You know what it is? Yeah, you were drunk. You know what it is? On my side. You know what the difference is? One, which is myself, knew what I wanted in my life. I didn't need to play games with 50 different women. And one is still undecided on which kind of person they really are themselves. One day they're religious, one day they're not. One day they want like this, one day they want like that. Marriage doesn't go this way, Habibi. If you don't have a path, if you don't have a way, if you don't have an ideology, you are heading for disaster in your life. Get it through your head. It's like going to college. I hate people that say, you're in college, yeah? What are you majoring for? I don't know, I'll decide down the way. Are you an idiot? Are you normal? How do you know what classes to put yourself really into? One day they want to be a psychologist, the next day they want to be a dentist, then they want to be a farmer, then they want to go to 47. Before you know, they end up to be barbers. But why? Shh. But why? Rabbi say why? You got take a chief, take it, don't worry about it. Why are you guys so undecided? And the answer is in this week's parasha. What's this week's parasha? Parashat Shemot says, "Ve'ele Shemot bnei Yisrael haba'im Mitzrayma et Yaakov ish ubeito ba'u." These are the kids of Yaakov that came to. These are the names of the kids of Yaakov that came to Egypt. Okay, very interesting. Now it goes through the history. It says all the names. And then it starts talking about something very interesting. Vayakom melech chadash. And a new king woke up one day. Paro had a change of mind. What does it mean he had a change of mind? Where was Yosef's bones found? Does anyone know?
No.
Why? Why wasn't he buried? How many people do you? I know many people that were buried in America. They dug him up and they buried them in a. It's up, yes. To move to go to Eretz Yisrael is allowed. Why didn't he say bury me in Israel, and then undig me and move me to Eretz Yisrael? Why specifically he was put in the water?
For
Mitzrayim's benefit.
No. The answer is he was a king. That's even more so of a question. He should be buried in a pyramid. The answer is very simple. Paro didn't want anyone to remember him. He wanted to annihilate the thought of Yosef controlling the people. Why? Because the Jews started to multiply. You know, we're crazy. We don't have one kid. 2, 3, 4, 5. Before you know, we have 10 kids. We had no mortgage. We had no mortgage there. We had no yeshiva bills. You know what I'm talking about? A bunch of Navainskis running around all over Mitzrayim. You know what I'm talking about? But you know what the funny thing is? The fact that we ran like Navainskis, that's why Paro said, whoa, Habibi, we need to protect Mitzrayim. What does the Midrash say? The land of Cush, that means the Africans. Ooh, the land of Cush, different colored skinned. They said we're having a war with who? Mitzrayim. Now Mitzrayim was the empire, they were the biggest in the world. They were ready to fight. Suddenly, what did they see? Imagine a whole army of Kushim. Just seeing that makes you scared. They're all big, they're strong, you know. They're, you know, whatever. I don't want to say some lines. We're on camera, but they looked scary. Suddenly, Paro said to the Bnei Yisrael, said, "Listen, you're in our land. If we get annihilated, you get annihilated. You got to do something about it." The Jews say, "Well, we got this." They said, "Listen, all the Egyptians move back. We'll take care of it." The Midrash has 3,000 Jews got up and they annihilated the whole army of Cush. Paro said, "Whoa, these guys are crazy. These are real Navainskis. We gotta make them work. We gotta make them work." Rabbatai, if you think Egypt was full of whips and work, it's a lie. It's all Hollywood. We never worked like that. We work like in America. Same thing. You know how you go to work when it's still dark and you go home when it's dark? That was Mitzrayim. It was season all year round.
We were forced to work, we were slaves.
No. We put ourselves to be slaves. We cared more about
Money.
and what's the proof to that? Because at the end of this week's parasha it says, and Paro died. And a new Paro got up and they started to cry about Parnasa. Hey, wait a second. The first thing that happens, you start to cry for Parnasa. You know when you go to Shul Yom Kippur Rosh Hashanah? Sharei Bracha, Amen. Sharei Tzedakah, Amen. Sharei Torah, Amen. Sharei Parnasa. Like, you see, you guys are already saying it, Amen. You already feel the ground shaking, like Tchiyat HaMitim is coming. You know? Like, you know how they do Hashkavot, especially by the Navainskis? They say all the avlos that ever once. I love them. Me and them have a special relationship, especially the Chaimo family. We have a special connection. Now, shh. Yeah, I have some Navainsky blood, so I that's why I'm allowed to flame around, no? So wait, shh. Why? Why do we put more emphasis on money than family? Why do we do that? No, big mistake. Has nothing to do with that. The answer is very simple. Again, 3 women are here.
Hey.
He's allowed to. He works in the catering hall. He knows how to say one time "Ae" and everyone's quiet. This is his gift. He has a gift. I'm telling you. You have to understand. The reason why they thought like that is because they thought they're staying in Mitzrayim forever. We're here to stay.
So they didn't have Emunah on Hashem?
No.
So
and that's why so many of them stayed in Mitzrayim and died. What was your question? I like your question. I think so.
Why were we not allowed to leave? You can say, like, what's the whole
I was there at
Pesach, exactly.
What was his question?
How come they didn't have like a fair choice? They could have left.
Very good. I like it. On point.
What do you think I'm slow?
You said it yourself, not me. Now, you asked a good question. In that case, why couldn't they leave? I'm going to tell you a midrash. Are you ready? Half of Shevet Menashe left. And when they left, the Plishtim annihilated them. They died. And how do we know this? I think it was when Yecheskel, the first time of Tchiyat HaMetim was when, Rabotai, was by Yecheskel. Yecheskel went to the field of all the dead corpses and he got up and he said a shir. And he said, get up. They all said, Az Ashir Moshe, and they went to the rest of their lives. So this is what has to be your question. So there is no freedom of choice. And the answer is yes.
You said they weren't slaves. You said they worked for money.
They were slaves to themselves.
Okay, they were slaves to themselves, but they weren't slaves to the Egyptians.
That's the biggest slave in the world. As we learned last week, Shiur. A person that thinks he's free, he's really a slave. A person that knows he's a slave, he's really free.
So they really wanted to stay?
Of course. Imagine owning half of Manhattan. Would you want to leave?
So like he said,
I asked you.
So what's the point of Passover? What's the point of Passover then?
I'm gonna.
If we were in
Because we had.
really wanted to stay there, what was the point of Passover?
Oh, because we weren't supposed to stay there. If your kid wants to run in the street, right? He wants to run. He loves to run. The car's coming. No, I still want to run. You gonna let him run?
No. Okay, so I have another question. I'm not
Answer the question.
No, I'm not gonna. Okay, I have another question.
No, wait. Slowly. Yakta. This is Samarkand. This is they're grabbing. Go ahead. Your turn.
Yeah, someone said about everyone, yo.
Like,
What about Muhammad?
I'm not from there. You're from there, but that's not different. Go.
we had 10 plagues.
No.
Right? Moshe and Aaron came to Paro and he told them, listen, let them go. If we were allowed to leave whenever we wanted, why did we have the whole...
We weren't allowed.
So we all got it wrong.
We weren't allowed to leave whenever we wanted. We all had to believe when the Redeemer comes. When the Redeemer comes, we have to leave. And that's why in this week's parasha it says, what? What does it say? Ikiyeh, Asher, Ikiyeh. What does that mean? When Moshe was... this is a totally different topic what I wanted to get into, but you asked a good question. When Moshe was talking to Hashem, when he revealed himself, Kiviyachol, he revealed himself
The burning bush?
by the burning bush. At the end, after a week of fighting with God, what did Moshe say? Okay, I agree to go. Now they're not going to believe me. What do I say in order for them to believe me? What do I say? So what does Hashem say? Ikiyeh, Asher Ikiyeh. I am who I am. Wait a second. What does the next pasuk say? Moshe said to him, why? And he said, you know what? Say Ikiyeh. Now, what's the purpose of this going back and forth? Ikiyeh means I am. If you look at Rashi on the spot, what does Rashi say? Hashem was telling the Jewish people, I am who I am now. I'm taking you out of your galut now. And I'm also Ikiyeh in the future. In the future, I'm also going to take you out of the other exile. Moshe Rabbeinu was saying, why? To remind them about the future exile. Imagine I'm giving you hope, but then I say, but you'll never make it. You're smart. You'll make dental school, yeah. But you won't pass the board exams. Why? What's the point of saying that? And that's why Moshe said, at the end, Hashem told Moshe to say, Ikiyeh. I am who I am. I am, that's what you should say to them. And how do we know Moshe Rabbeinu was the Redeemer? Who was still alive? One lady in the world never died. What's her name? Yaakov Avinu last week blessed her.
The Asher's daughter.
What's her name? Sarah. Not Hashem's daughter, Hashem's stepdaughter. Asher's stepdaughter. The Midrash says that she played the music. She was really Shem's daughter. She married, it's a long story. The whole story is long. She played a harp and she's still alive until today. And how do we know this? Because when the Jews, how do we know this? Proof! I'll give you a proof. In Persia, if you go to Persia today, they have a monument called Serach. Why? Because she helped them, and in their certain history of the Jews in Persia, there was a time that they were supposed to be again obliterated, and she helped them come out of their problem.
Where is the she?
Where is she? It's a great question. I don't know.
Good question.
She's
a
a-
human.
she's a
doesn't
human
wanna
form.
die. She doesn't get tired.
She
of
can
living.
die. You want
No.
to know why?
Tired of living.
How is it possible that she's alive?
Wow. The man became woman overnight. You want to listen? You want to listen? But this is going to be too deep. I don't know if you're going to be able to understand it. It's going to be so deep that I'm not repeating myself. When Adam Rishon did the sin of eating from the Etz Hadat, when Adam Rishon did the sin of the Etz Hadat, inside of him was kolel. That means inside of him had all the nishamot in the world. We all come from Adam Rishon, which is Keneged. Which olam? Ak, not Ab, Ak. At the time of his sin, there were certain souls that left his body. Are you focusing? That left his body. And there's a certain part of your body, a certain part of the body that didn't benefit from the food of the Etz Hadat. Which part of the body didn't affect? The loose bone. What's the only bone that never disintegrates in the grave?
The loose bone.
Why? Because it never benefited from the Etz Hadat. So it doesn't have the din of met. It doesn't need to die. Why doesn't it need to die? Because it never benefited from the cause of death. Serach bat Asher came, her soul came from that specific part of Adam Rishon that doesn't deserve to die. And that's why she doesn't die. The same reason why Eliyahu Navi also doesn't die.
So you think them to
Did you just comprehend what I told you? If you can ask a question right after that without pausing for 5 seconds, you don't understand.
But I understood, then I can ask the question.
But wait. Can we get back to Sefer SHMOT? Is crying to me. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, they're crying to me. Do you want to hear a little bit about this week's parasha? But did you understand the answer?
I'll be honest.
No.
Not 100%.
Okay, I'll explain it to you later. They have no idea. They're talking, chattering all day.
Woman.
Remember, you're gonna marry one day. Okay. Shh. The parsha goes that what happens? Moshe Rabbeinu was born to Miriam, to Yocheved, and what was his father's name? Amram. Is it TORAH? Amram. You know who was older? Does anyone know? Yocheved was older. Yocheved was 130 years old when she had him. When they used to go to the stipler and used to ask, listen, the girl is older than me. Should I marry her? You know what he used to say? Why not? Look at Moshe Rabbeinu. His mother was older. Maybe you can have a son like Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, stop. Let's continue. Let's continue. What happens? Moshe Rabbeinu was born at 6 months. He was born at 6 months. For 3 months, they had the pleasure of raising him. And then what did they have to do? They had to put him in a basket and say salamat. But with crying and bichiot, you know, for a mother, chas shalom, to say bye to their child is the worst thing in the world. And what does it say? And Miriam, why was her name Miriam? It comes from the word mar, bitter. Because the time that she was born was exactly the time the Jews started suffering into their own personal lives.
So it was blame on her?
No. She was just called at that time, whatever it was. The same reason why the Jews were called Alexander at the time that Alexander the Great didn't destroy Yerushalayim in the time of Purim, Chanukah. Why? As appreciation of Alexander the Great.
You can't do that though.
What they did, we don't ask about. It's what we do we have to ask about.
You can't name our son.
Shh, you could name your son Alexander now. It became already a Jewish kind of name. Now, let's continue. What does the pasuk say? This is what I want to get into. Two psukim and then a nice chidush. And Miriam followed the basket to see the well-being of her brother. Pasuk Dalet, Perek Bet, Sefer SHMOT. The Belz of Hasidim, they have a custom. They have a certain, not a custom, but they have a takana. What's their takana? It means establishment. You know, in the religious world, people go to sleepaway school or sleepaway camp. It's a way to get yourself away from the physical world. Both boys and girls in their own private time. If you're sleeping in a dormitory, or even not, if you're outside and you see your friend sleeping and it's time to pray, don't wake him up. Let him sleep. He's going to miss Zman Kriyat Shema. Let him sleep. But if they're serving breakfast now, and you know if you're not going to wake him up now, he's going to miss breakfast, you better wake him up to eat breakfast.
What if it's your father?
Wait a second. We're not talking about fathers right now. Friends. You're in this dormitory with your I hope you're not in a dormitory with your father. I'm just saying in general, you don't wake up your father for anything. Trust me. Better for your sake and better for his sake. Shh. Listen. Listen. Let's not get personal. Listen. Why? Why for breakfast you wake him up, but for spirituality, you don't wake him up?
Because if he doesn't eat, he's going to be mad at you.
No. Because you don't have to worry about his spirituality. You have to worry about his physicality. Oh, Rabbi, I'm going out with this girl because I'm going to make her religious. Dafuk! Liar! You're not making anyone religious. You're worried about one thing. And it's in between your feet. That's it. That's all you're worried about. I'm going to make her religious one day. I'm going to marry her. She's going to be Eshet Chal. Okay. Yes. Garbage. Nonsense. Shtuyot. It doesn't work, Rabotai. It doesn't work. It never did, and it never will work. Stop going out with girls to make them religious. Make yourself religious.
We're supposed to worry about our friends' physicality.
Even if it's the opposite, give him the pod. He wants to switch with you. Even the opposite. A girl shouldn't say, I'm going out with the guy, I'm so shomer, I'm such a tzaddiket, Wait a second. If you're such a tzaddiket, you're not even talking to men right now. Don't give me skaska right now.
How do you expect to get married?
You expect to get married when it's time for you to get married. How do you know? I tell you, it's time for you to get married. It's time for a majority of the people in this room to get married. You understand? It's not majority for them. Actually, none of them are ready, but all of you. Why? Because they're too young, first of all, and you guys are not. You guys are already the age of 19. I got married when I just turned 19. I just turned 19. I said hasta la vista, and I got married.
You're already Rebbe.
I wasn't born with a beard. I wasn't born a Rebbe.
But you were in a religious household.
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay, but someone can tell your father.
Shh.
What's up with
My brother didn't get married 19. You understand? It didn't go this way. You understand? I said it's time for finance. Oh, Rabbi Say, I'm waiting. Listen carefully. Rabbi Say, please, it's getting late. I have to pick up my mother. Listen. Rabbi Say, you asked a good question. What was the question? Okay, Rabbi, you have to get married. Apul. Everyone's father here asked that same question. Don't tell me wrong.
It's not father, it's a logical question.
No, wait. Wait. You know what's not logical? You know what?
talking right now?
Shh, listen. Shh. It's not a logical question. I'll tell you why. When your father came to this country, he knew how he was going to live, and he came married or not married? I know many people that came to this country married with 2-3 kids, with already their grandkids. They came to this country with $100, $200. This is the 1990s. They don't know how they're gonna live tomorrow. What's the difference? Lahefech, it should be easier for you. You live in this country. You know how to hustle. Now, wherever your mind stops, that's where God starts. Now this is where I'm going to get to you. The next pasuk says, what does it say? Vatired bat Paro. And the daughter of Paro goes down. And what does she see? A nice basket flowing down the Nile River. And she stretched her hand and she took the basket. Morai Vorabotai, question. Did she know that her hand was going to stretch? So why did she stretch it? Because your job is to try, and it's his job to provide. I know many people that finish medical school, they're on an unemployment list. I know many barbers that never even went to school, and they're living a better life. What's the difference? One thought they're going to rely on themselves, and one decided they're going to do what they have to do. Do you understand the difference? So the next time someone's going to tell me, but why? I'm going to say, I got married with not $1 in my pocket. You know how? Because I realize something. I don't control the world. Guys, listen carefully. I'm going to finish with this. This is the key of your life. This is the key to all the Torah. If you don't have this, you don't have faith. You don't have simple faith. You don't control the world. It's not your job to say I. It's your job to say help. When you do that, God will provide for you. It's so hard to believe, but it's so simple. How do we know this? A baby, when he's born, what automatically happens biological to the mother?
She gets attached.
No, she starts to produce milk. How does that make sense? Did you ever think? How does that happen? Hashem said, I'll give you the baby, and I'll provide also his food for you. Rabotai, you don't control the world. I don't control the world. He controls the world. He'll give you your customer today, and tomorrow he'll take away that customer. Someone that's in the business field knows exactly what I'm talking about. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, nothing. Dead man. He's all day in Tam Tov shashlik eating, doing panja drinking. Suddenly one day, wow, the biggest deal of his life. One guy comes, I need 6, 7 different things. Before you know it, he made more than what he would make hustling the whole week. Do you understand the difference? Stop thinking you control the world. We don't control jack. Nothing. We don't even control the kibbutz that's on our head. We just have to try. And that's what we learned from Batya. We got to do our all. Thank you. Have a great day. See you next week.